Today we take a look at Ferrari CEO. He's going to give us some insight on why people buy Ferraris and what he thinks about the EV transition. Now, I know Ferrari operates in a different lane than Tesla, but there might still be something to glean here. So without further ado, let's get to it.
For almost 150 years, a combustion engine has powered the cars we drive, allowing people to live, work, and play in ways that were unimaginable in the past. But as our world transitions from fossil fuels to renewable energy, the auto industry has been forced to adapt. I meet the man in charge of one of the world's most iconic companies, Ferrari. Benedetto Vigna is overseeing a new era, as a car maker famous for its roaring engine switches to electric. What was your first car?
My first car in my life?
Yes.
At that time was a Fiat. Now, I have a Ferrari.
But what do you sell? Do you sell dreams? Do you sell technology? Do you sell speed?
No. What we sell, it's really emotion to our client. We sell, when a Ferrarista, when a client buys Ferrari, he buys something that he likes to have fun. He likes to have, to live an emotion, okay? He does not buy a car to go to the shopping, or he buys something that let him, her feel much better.
Him, her feel much better. I'm pretty sure it had 6 inches. That's what I've been told.
You become altogether one thing with the car.
How has the clients changed, actually, over the years? Are there more females than in the past?
We see 2 trends. Number 1, the new clients are younger. And number 2, we see more and more female. And this is true a little bit everywhere. For sure in Asia we have more female than in the Western world, but we see more and more female getting in our space, but we see also a high percentage of new clients that are very young. 40% of our new client are younger than 40 years old.
How important is the color?
For sure, when you talk about personalization of Ferrari, the color has a special meaning.
Ferraris are like lightsabers. That's what I got from that. Ferraris equals lightsaber. Works for me. What
do you think makes your success as a leader?
I think there are 2 dimensions that are always important to consider when you lead a team. I think there are, one, I like to say confident humility, and the second is will to progress. The confident humility is important because you have to pay attention not to make the mistake that since you are in a high hierarchical position, you may think that you know everything, and instead you have always to keep open eyes and open ears to what other people are saying, inside the company and outside. And will to progress because we have always to have this kind of attention toward the future, usually the best the past, but also find the right compromise between what you verified to be true in the past and what you believe is going to be true in the future.
If you read the book back there, you might think something that Vigna is saying applies to Elon Musk. Confident humility. I guess that's open for debate. I, on the other hand, think that Elon is full of humility. His confidence has definitely grown since the birth of the company, all the while surrounding him with extremely wonderful talent and willing to take on their expertise and add it to his own. The second part, the will to progress, Elon Musk has that in spades. And there's one thing that Vigna says that I really related toward Elon Musk. Let's check it out.
Compromise between what you verified to be true in the past and what you believe is going to be true in the future. There is this continuous equilibrium, let me say, that you have to balance.
So how do you avoid becoming complacent?
We are here because of the work of many people. The people that are in the company now, the people that were in the company in the past, all the stakeholders. But we have always to keep alive this will to progress. And there is one sentence of our founder that I like a lot. It's the one I like most. And he said, to those who come after me, I leave a simple inheritance. To keep alive the will to progress pursued in the past. And for me, this tells a lot about who we are and what you have to be a good leader.
And so the biggest challenge now is becoming more green.
Definitely. The sustainability for us is important. Becoming greener and greener is important, especially for a luxury company, because a luxury company makes emotional product, symbolic product, not functional product. So becoming green is important for the social license. And we are highly committed over there. We want to become carbon neutral by 2030.
It's tough. I mean, how difficult is it? Do you remember the first time where you actually announced to your engineers that you wanted to become green? Because it's also about the sound. The Ferrari's the speed, the sound, the combustion engine. You're saying, look, we're not starting from scratch, but almost.
It's important to look at the future with realism, but also with energy. Because I think that when you work, when you listen around you, then ideas come and you can make something unique.
I'm excited for you because you've tried the prototype.
Yeah.
Right? Do you like it?
I like a lot. And I'm happy because you cannot see what I'm seeing in my memory, yes.
Yeah, because it's like you'd have to kill me afterwards. How secret? So how many prototypes are there before you actually go to market?
Look, we have a very detailed development process. So we have what we call technically mulotype, prototype, before we end up with the final, with the production of the final product. So it's very much detailed. It takes several quarters, and we test the car in different conditions. But it's very, very interesting.
Now let's not beat around the bush here. Ferrari's first electric car will be compared directly to the Tesla Roadster. And when you're talking about production electric sports cars, Tesla is best in show. The Tesla Roadster doesn't exist. Ferrari doesn't make this push.
What are you most excited about? Is it the sound?
The driving emotion, okay? The driving emotion, the performance, and also the design. They go all together. It's like three wheels, these three wheels, falling and moving at the right speed all together. And then these three is all encompassed by the sustainability. I believe in it.
What was harder for you, to get the company to follow that dream, or do you think it's actually getting customers to buy an electric Ferrari?
But look, we'll see in a couple of years. There is a strong enthusiasm, a lot of energy. Engineers and in the factory, in technology, on R&D, they are all committed to make something unique.
Can you give us a flavor or of how, whether it's the battery changes, like, can you give us any indication of how different?
I can tell you this, it's going to be unique. It's going to be a true Ferrari.
When you look at margins, and actually if you look at the really high-end luxury, especially supercars, it seems that the sky's the limit in terms of pricing. Do you feel that's true?
But the sky is the limit for innovation, for sure. The sky is not the limit, I think, for pricing, because you have always to think there is a client that to get those money, you had to work a lot. So you have to balance the right way. You have to avoid to look like greedy. And you have to deliver something that is always in line with the emotion you are able to deliver. I think this is fundamental. Otherwise, it becomes too much transactional, and client are stakeholder of our family. And we have to make sure that they feel part of this family.
You can't have an electric Ferrari cost 3 times as much as the Tesla Roadster. Don't get me wrong, the brand is worth something. My mind keeps wandering back to 6 inches, but I'm sure the Tesla is selling something more than emotion as well.
Do younger clients or do females actually look for different things in the cars?
If you want, there is only one common trait. The people want to have fun when they drive Ferrari. That is common across all the places, all the people I met.
Benedetto, who do you see as your biggest rivals, actually, right now?
But look, the rivals can be a little bit everywhere. Based on my experience, also on the previous business life, you have always to pay attention to companies that are nimble and agile, because they can surprise the market.
Tesla! Excuse me.
So really, you have to be paranoid to be a good chief executive.
I think you have to be paranoid always for what you do, because when you are, when you are on the leading edge and you want to stay there, you're always to look with a lot of attention to what's happening. It comes always to the same story. Listen what is happening around you.
But for supercars, is it really possible to have a rival that start from scratch, that's almost started by a software company?
It's not so easy like in high tech, because in high tech usually the heritage is not so important. When you talk about luxury company, there is a heritage dimension that is very important, but this is the past. Let's look at the future. So for me, the lesson is always pay attention to possible competitors that are small, agile, and nimble, because these can make a difference. So always open ears.
Tesla! Sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to interrupt.
How much do you worry about increasing production and therefore becoming, I guess, less high-end luxury?
We are making 13,000, 14,000 cars per year. We will not grow a lot in the future because we want to grow more for value, not for volume.
This is where Tesla and Ferrari will differ. But when you're talking about the Tesla Roadster, I can't imagine Tesla making as many of those as they do the Model S or X. The limited volume of the Tesla Roadster will only increase its value over time. Much like a Ferrari, it will be an appreciating asset.
Talk to me a little bit about batteries. I mean, this is the next frontier, the frontier, right,
yeah,
for anyone in cars. How much of the new Ferrari will you do in-house, and how much do you have to rely on companies outside?
Look, I think innovation can be done in two ways. One is innovation in-house, and one is innovation with a strategic supplier. We selected what we want to make in-house. We want to make in-house the battery, we want to make in-house the engine, the electronics, and then the assembly of the car, for example, in this respect of electrification. Then we will use the cell coming from outside, and we selected some strategic supplier for this.
How do you choose them?
We choose based on two criteria: the competence and the time and the speed. The competence and the time to make something new.
Vertical integration whenever you can is probably what you need to do. Nobody knows what your car needs better than you. Ferrari is going to have to get proficient in some things that they probably never thought they'd have to.
Some places actually surprising where you have a lot more demand.
There are some countries that are growing because we are a luxury company. Korea is one of these.
Yeah.
Taiwan is like another one. So I think the traction of the brand is pretty good across all the states.
Benedetto Vigna came to Ferrari from the world of microchips. The tech pioneer, who was brought in to navigate the carmaker's electric future, has sounded a warning on artificial intelligence.
There is also another interesting book that I got as a gift, Why We Drive.
About what? About cars?
About the importance for people to drive the car and not to be in cars that are autonomous.
So my kids that are around 10 may not ever know how to drive. Is that a problem for Ferrari?
Ding, 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 ding. Tell her what she's won, Johnny. Your mother. Right. Her kids, about 10 years old, hopefully will never have to learn how to drive. An electrified autonomous driving solution is within our grasp. We need to achieve that to reduce all the unnecessary deaths on highways around the globe. I mean, he's right. As we progress through technology, we will be abandoning some skills. I don't know how to ride a horse, and I'm sure that is a very useful skill. I'm not proficient at hunting. Well, not in the traditional sense. I can go rustle up some Chick-fil-A nuggets as we speak. I don't know how to churn butter. There's a lot of things I'm not proficient at. But as a human being, my ability to gain proficiency is what I trust. We may be losing some of these skills temporarily, and as long as civilization doesn't collapse, I believe we'll be okay, because we'll be gaining skills that we never even thought we could. This is the very definition of progress.
I think that there will be people that they may not know how to drive, and there will be people that will have the pleasure to learn to drive and to drive. I don't think that the youngster will not take care anymore about the driving. There are some skills also that you can develop when you are driving. And also, we are in a world where everything is done sometimes too much by the computer. We have many things we are asking. We do not remember anymore phone numbers. In the past, we had to remember. When we make a research, it's very easy on internet. You find a lot of things, but we have always to remember that we are human beings, and we have always to keep alive the critical thinking, because at the end of the story, this is at the base of our free will. We have to pay attention that the new technology, AI, whatever, it's always a tool that must be used by a man. It must not be the other way around. AI using the man, is man using AI, and we have to pay attention.
Benedetto, what does a good day what does a good Vigna day look like?
When you see the progress getting out, when you see that the teams are engaged and are doing something new and they love it, and they are satisfied, that is a good Vigna day, business-wise.
What does a bad Vigna day look like?
A bad Vigna day is a day where you are not learning anything. It's like a static day. There are some days where you cannot, you would like to do more, you would like to understand more, and instead you are there. It's not when you do mistake. When you, if you want, you don't see that kind of change of gear in your thinking process in the team.
I imagine there was quite a few bad Vigna days as they approached their first electric vehicle. This shit ain't easy, as Tesla makes it look. As always, the full interview will be linked below. The future of cars is electric and eventually autonomous. Just like there's dude ranches where you can go get your fix and be on horseback, I'm sure there'll be tracks open where you can get your fix behind the wheel. It just won't be mainstream anymore, much like riding a horse. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.